This reporter places the blame for all of this squarely on you, the viewers.
Would you say we'd be venturing into a zone of danger?
It doesn't matter what you think.
You're listening to the Our Take Podcast with Brian Sherman.
He had a full head, all the way till the end. It was white, and I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get, like, the full head, and it was really hard to cut it off.
And Spencer Rogers.
To be a good pilot, you have to be able to make good decisions, and I know what my credit score is, so I know I don't make good decisions.
This is the Our Take Podcast.
From Scary Parrot Media Studios in Ogden, Utah, it's the Our Take Podcast, episode 63. I'm Brian.
I am hungry. No, I'm Spencer. I'm actually not hungry.
It's a special episode. We have Dr. Ethan Patrick Baham. What's up, man?
Not much, man. How's it going? You know you can just leave the doctor out, right?
No, I'm not going to do that. He's here to join us for this episode.
That doctor.
We're going to be having
Costs a lot of money.
some doc talk later. Today is August 12th. On this day in history, in 1990, the largest dinosaur fossil is found.
Wow.
American paleontologist Sue Hendrickson found the fossiled remains of a Tyrannosaurus rex in the state of South Dakota. Sue, as the dinosaur is now informally called after its discoverer, is thought to have been 14 feet tall when alive.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Now, just hang on just a second, though.
Okay.
How big is the T-Rex in Jurassic Park?
Everything in Jurassic Park is completely fake. Especially...
The dinosaurs are fake?
Yeah, the raptors. Look it up. Raptors look nothing like that. They're also like this bit. They're only a couple feet off the ground.
People can't see.
They have feathers. That's why I said a couple feet off the ground.
Yeah.
They have feathers, and there's only one species of velociraptor that's anywhere near as big as the ones in the movie, and
Utah.
It is a newlier discovered species, and it is the Utah raptor.
What word did you just say?
Newlier.
Newlier. But yeah, T-Rex in Jurassic Park seems a lot bigger than 14 feet. Doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, 14 feet's big.
The thing is like a brontosaurus seems like it would be much bigger than that.
But they're not. They're not that big.
How do you know how big a brontosaurus
You
is?
can see their freaking skeletons.
I mean, think about the brontosaurus in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
They drive up to it in a
massive.
Jeep and they hardly come to its knee.
Yeah.
Let's look. A brontosaurus,
Just like...
length 69 to 75 feet. Now that's, snout to
Oh,
tail.
okay.
But I mean...
how tall
So if
was
it
the
was
average?
standing up, it'd be...
Did you know the brontosaurus is now called...
Yeah, there is no
Apatosaurus?
brontosaurus.
That's
I
stupid.
I know.
Yeah, dinosaurs are really confusing. When you go to the fossil museum and you're like, that's a T-Rex, and then you go up to it and it's like this is a Scaliohumus Rex, and you're like, what? No, that is a T-Rex.
Let's
Yeah.
face it, though, we call dinosaurs by the name that we learned when we were kids.
Why,
Yeah.
why did they...
There's only
it will
four.
never
There's only
change in my
four
mind.
dinosaurs:
But why
the
did they change
Stegosaurus,
it?
the Tyrannosaurus, and the Brontosaurus.
Pterodactyl.
And the pterodactyl, and then in 1993, in 1993, we learned about the raptor. No one knew about the raptor
Wait,
until
let's just-
Jurassic
We
Park.
know
Let's just
everything
say-
that was featured in the land before time.
Let's just say how many we know.
Exactly, Sharptooth,
Tyrannosaurus
Sharptooth,
Rex.
Littlefoot.
Let's think of all the ones we can think of. Here we go.
Okay.
T-Rex,
Yeah.
Brontosaurus.
Okay.
I know Brachiosaurus because I know Brontosaurus, but apparently none of those exist anymore.
Yeah. No.
Velociraptor,
Okay.
Stegosaurus,
Yeah.
Triceratops,
Right.
Pterodactyl.
Shut up.
What is it?
Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus, only because of Jurassic Park.
Okay. I always liked the Ankylosaurus when I was a kid.
I don't know what that is.
I
It's
like
the one
the-
with the big,
the anal,
rock balls on its tail that whipped around.
Ankylosaurus? Oh yeah.
rock balls.
I don't know.
Rock balls will be at Warped
Well,
this year.
The Brontosaurus, I'm going to keep calling it that.
That's
It's
fine.
about 15 feet tall at the hips.
Oh.
Weighed roughly 33 to 38 tons. How much does an elephant weigh?
Not that much.
That's still taller than the T-Rex you just talked about, though.
Well,
from
I
the
thought
hip.
a Brontosaurus would be bigger than a T-Rex.
Yeah, I did too. But they're leaf eaters.
I don't think
Right.
they were
It's
prey.
clearly a better diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, African bush elephants weigh 13,000 pounds.
Bush elephants.
That's my nickname.
So they used to
They'll
call me
also
in
be a
high
warp
school.
tour.
Yeah. That's what I was
Speaking of weird animals, because dinosaurs are kind of weird.
Yeah.
You heard of a tardigrade?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all the rage.
the little microscopic.
The water bears.
There was an
Water
episode
bear.
of Family Guy about him.
They have-
and
They have like 8 feet.
it's like the whole premise of Star Trek Discovery.
Don't they have 6?
8.
I don't know.
According to this picture,
I
this
don't know.
rendering.
They're on
I
the
don't know,
moon,
just
though.
pulling it
That's
out of
what I
memory.
was gonna say. The Israelis, our allies,
Those Jews.
just crashed their spacecraft called Bear Shit, during a failed landing attempt on April 11th. Why would you listen? If you're on the ground and you're like, you know what, we should send to space?
Yeah.
Tardigrades. Have you seen the movie Life? Have you seen that?
Yeah, that is not a great idea.
So now the moon is infested with tardigrades. They're going to
Who
survive.
basically can't die.
Yeah. I mean, they're eating our flags.
Yeah,
You know,
they're going to come back.
We have
and kill
we
us.
got 6 flags up there.
They're going to come back and
But
kill
I mean,
us.
we have them here. They haven't done us any harm.
Yeah, but we keep
Not
them under
yet.
control here. We
Not
can't
yet.
control them on the moon.
What if the moon just slowly disappeared?
Speaking of the moon, so guess what happened this Sunday?
I don't know what happened.
Mr. Mad Mike himself, the limo driver turned DIY rocketeer.
Ah, did he launch himself to space on his steam rocket?
No, better. Well, I looked it up to see if he was still alive because obviously launching a steam rocket is ridiculous, and this guy's already stupid because he thinks the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
But just to pile on his stupidity, the launch was scrapped
Due to
well, they said weather, but the real reason is a faulty water heater that Mad Mike purchased on Craigslist.
that. Wait, I mean, I know how you make steam, right?
Yeah.
How is this supposed to work? Like, he just generates so much steam.
I actually think
and
it
forces
says-
out of a nozzle just like a rocket, but not flame. Like,
The
wouldn't
water has to heat to 400 degrees, the temperature required to create the steam to propel the rocket. It's just like, it makes sense, but I don't know how high it could possibly...
It be? Yeah, I mean, it
I
took
mean-
like 7 million pounds of thrust.
I know.
Which
In
is
each-
why you would buy it on Craigslist. That seems like the most...
Wasn't
Here we've got the Saturn V rocket that has, it's like 100 feet tall and how
it's
much...
like 300 feet.
Yeah.
Wasn't the space shuttle, even the space shuttle, didn't it have,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it 7
yeah.
million in,
Yeah.
in each one? So
Yeah.
it's 14 million
But
pounds of
he's
thrust?
like, you know what? I'm going to just do steam and show these guys.
What is he hoping for, just to see a little bit of curve?
Well, he keeps trying to get higher and higher so that he can prove that
Has
the
he done
Earth-
this before?
Why
Yes.
doesn't he
Yes.
just get on an aircraft and go somewhere?
You know what? That's actually a great question because
Red Bull dude.
they go to 40,000 feet,
Right.
And
and he could just look out the window.
How high? Yeah, how high
because
can
the
your steam
government,
rocket-
the government is controlling those aren't actually windows when you're outside the
true.
airplane.
It's just a screen.
They're screens, high
Right.
definition screens.
So that we can't see the slight curvature.
I think
Yeah.
so. But Red Bull dude, remember that guy who jumped out of a?
Yeah,
I just
balloon
watched that
from, like,
video
the
again the other day.
stratosphere?
It's like gives you butterflies every time.
And you remember, like they could see him tumbling, and they're like, "Dude, if he tumbles any faster,
He's gonna die.
see,
Yeah.
it's what I want to. Let's take Mad Mike up there and just push him out
just a weather balloon."
with no parachute. Just push him on out.
Yeah. What we need is a platform, and say, get a running
A
start,
flat Earth platform.
get a running start, and then you'll go into a slight orbit before you hit the ground. Yeah. So, whatever, man. Hopefully, tardigrades.
He's he's trying to get to the moon to rescue the tardigrades.
Steam rocket.
And a steam powered
Oh my
rocket
gosh.
that's
That he
worth
bought
like,
on Craigslist.
What if it was like, choo,
Yeah.
choo, 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 like a train?
So apparently he was sponsored by some dating site, and he's getting more publicity now because he's going to be on a Science Channel show called
Oh, come on, really?
DIY Rocketeers.
The Science Channel
Yeah.
is hosting this
No,
flat earther.
a science channel
Are you sure it's
named
not?
DIY Rocketeers. Is that what you said, or is he on the
No,
Science
it's
Channel?
the Science Channel.
What the
Oh
heck?
man, that is the epitome of selling out. When you're giving a show to a flat earther on the Science Channel, unless it's going to be like that Netflix documentary where it's all a build up to proving them wrong.
I know. Are you ready for a quote here from Mike? This is his. Hughes gave on August 11th. Hughes gave another motivation for his latest launch attempt. This launch is about my personal desire to inspire my fellow Americans to help make this country great again.
What?
Hold on. Trump is the greatest president since there's been a president, Hughes added. I intended to spread the word MAGA with my homegrown, steam-powered manned rocket. I am the homegrown rocket man.
It's not a word.
What?
MAGA. It's an acronym.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
Flat earthers and Trump. Speaking about Trump and politics, I signed up for the 7-day free trial of Showtime.
Okay.
So that I could watch season 2 of Our Cartoon President, which is actually a really funny show.
Yeah.
It's made by Stephen Colbert.
That's where you get the drops.
Yeah, I get some from there. Yeah. It's the Hannity. Well, this is where
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz!
That's where that came from. Anyway, so after I finished with season 2 of Our Cartoon President, I started looking around and I found a show called, first of all, I found 2 shows. The first one is called Kidding. Have you heard of it?
No.
Negative.
Really? Okay, so it has Jim Carrey in it.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, and he plays like a Mr. Rogers type character. Yeah.
All right.
But then his son dies and he kind of loses his mind slowly but surely. And it was super entertaining. I highly recommend it.
What kind of feel? Like
Is this like a sad show or is this supposed to be a funny show?
like a dramedy?
Yeah.
You know what? My favorite show on Showtime is Homeland.
Yeah. It's like Better 24.
Yeah, it's true. It is. It's not in real time, but
Yeah.
Homeland is awesome.
I thought you'd be offended. I know how much you love 24.
I do love 24, but Homeland is better than 24.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
The second show I think that you need to watch, Brian, it is called The Loudest Voice. I'm 1 episode away from finishing it. It is about Roger Ailes and the rise of Fox News. It's like Vice.
Okay.
With Vice, if you remember, I was like, I don't know if this is all true because Hollywood is the liberal left. There's no denying that, and they will take it, and But if it did happen all that way, then it's pretty messed up, and that's exactly how I feel about this. Like, I don't know how accurate this is, but if it did happen this way, then it's really, really bad.
The difference.
Roger Ailes was a bad dude.
Yeah. He's dead. It's good.
Oh, freaking spoiler alert.
I don't have to watch it now.
Actually,
Well,
the first scene is him dying. So.
The difference is that, like, with the loudest voice and the great hack, and there's another one about Trump and Cambridge Analytica and Bannon. There's multiple documentaries, not dramatized. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the way Vice was.
Yeah.
Multiple about how they did this.
And I haven't watched the last episode yet, but this lawsuit that just got filed in the second to the last episode, she has evidence of it all. So
Yeah.
Plus, he's just kind of crazy. He is. I would compare. Oh, here we go, comparing Hitler and
Roger
Trump
Ailes?
again.
No,
Yeah,
it's Goebbels.
Actually, yes, but there was someone before Goebbels.
Eckhart?
Yes.
They exchanged ideas between 20 and 23.
Yeah. And because even in this, but then Eckhart later kind of was like, "Whoa, Adolf," that happened. That just happened in this episode where Roger Ailes was like, "Whoa, Donald."
That happens a lot. Remember, this was way long ago in the podcast where I read that book about Zarqawi and his mentor. Zarqawi was the leader of ISIS,
right?
And his mentor taught him in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And when he killed that pilot, do you remember when he killed that Jordanian pilot?
Right.
By like dumping rocks on him
Yeah.
and burning him? His mentor wrote him a letter. It was like, whoa, dude, that was over the top.
Yeah.
But then they just disavow their mentor.
Yeah.
You know?
Why does that happen?
I don't know what
happened in Star Wars too.
That's true.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because mentors always twist the truth.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. A certain point of view? What?
Man.
Well, Ethan. You watched the debates with me. Well, you watched
I watched
the first one of the second round.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it got you interested.
I know, which
'Cause-
is surprising because I'm usually not. I mean, I just hate politics.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too. But then I come here.
I mean, it's fair to say you're pro Bernie
I am probably.
I mean,
yeah.
for one reason.
I love the fact that he wants to abolish my student loans.
Yeah, because you have.
Yes,
I love that.
him and Elizabeth Warren. I'm like, yes, let's.
And even she's not as dramatic as he is.
Let's do it.
She's got some caveats, and he doesn't.
I figure if I keep waiting and have you're about to default and then call them and they'll be like, okay, just start paying. If I do that long enough, eventually one of these presidents is gonna be like.
It reminds me of that guy that paid off all the student loan or paid the tuition, and you're like, what about all the people who paid?
Yeah, right.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I don't want to.
Do you remember that? Or when we talked, there's a billionaire that he's black, but he went to it's relevant because he went to a predominantly black university.
I gotcha.
And he was the keynote or the
the
commencement,
Mm-hmm.
and he paid off everyone's student loans.
Yep, which I thought was awesome.
Yes, but didn't. But then there's the sucker who worked his way through college, didn't take out any loans,
Yeah.
and he's like, "What?"
Thank you.
But I mean, they're also loan free. I mean, you're not going to make everybody happy, but I mean, do you
Right.
really?
I
Why
just thought it
pull
was
everybody
funny.
else down into misery just because you had to
Misery
work to pay
loves
some of
company.
yours?
But I'm interested though because you're not that interested in politics, and we're really good friends.
Almost.
I want to
lovers.
know what your the most frustrating thing was during that, and the most compelling thing while you were watching the debates. The debate.
I think the most frustrating thing was just seeing all of the candidates who are supposedly on the same platform just hating and bashing each other.
Attacking each other.
And I'm like, you guys are all Democrats. Like, I
Yep.
feel like you should have more to agree on than to argue about.
Yep.
And I mean, I understand that you're going to nitpick about your own plan to solve whatever problem you're trying to solve, but
Well, I think I told you not that it's an excuse, but I think I told you why. Because in the first debate, they got eaten by the press afterwards for not going after each other enough, and then they go to this one, and everybody's like, "Why didn't you guys focus on how bad you hate Trump?" You know? So, yeah,
Can I just say that I hate that platform. That's Biden's platform. Is I'm better than Trump. You know, let's make America Trump free again.
which I feel like could be anyone's platform.
I know,
that's
but
running. So it's
at the
just-
same time, I'm like, okay, great, but can we also maybe look at universal health care or getting rid of student loans?
all of them are like the top 4 candidates are all pro all of those things,
right.
So how do you have a debate where you all agree? Is Ethan's point, right?
Well, Biden doesn't. He's not on board with
That's
that.
true. That's true. I'm not sure Biden's going to get the ticket.
I hope
I don't think he's going to
not.
get the
He
nod.
keeps messing up every freaking day.
He's had a couple
Yeah.
bad ones, man. So,
But Trump proves that doesn't matter.
well, the funny thing is, about the shootings,
Yeah.
right? Trump said Toledo
right.
when it happened in Dayton,
Dayton.
but then Biden said, like, please, we pray for the people of Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan and
Maybe he was thinking of the water crisis still.
Don't know.
It was it was another state too. It was too completely unrelated.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
So, what did you find most compelling, or did you learn something about a candidate that you didn't know, or something like that?
This is a different take on that question, but I think the thing that was most compelling was I've never really considered myself to be a Democrat or a Republican or anything, just because I try and stay away from politics. But the more I watched that debate, the more I was like, maybe I'm a Democrat.
Yep.
You know,
Because I just everything that they said, I was like, like some of you might be a little extreme, and I understand that you have to be extreme in order to be nominated by your party because that's the madness that we live in. But at the same time, I was like, you guys really all make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like, and maybe this is just my personal biases, that the Democrats have slowly moved towards what I consider to be the middle ground of politics, while the Republicans
Yeah,
are
they
going
have.
off into the extreme. So I just tend to.
Well, the the Democrats haven't moved. It's just that the that the right has gone way right. You know, so you and Spencer are probably closer to center
I am
in terms of historical politics.
Yeah.
You know, I am radicalized at this point.
You're a radicalized Democrat now?
Yeah,
I was thinking this just yesterday. Actually, if people actually watch the debates, Republicans actually watch the debates, Well, not even Republicans, because there's certain people that.
Yeah.
But if people who are unsure watch the debates, they would probably be like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't just put an R, on my ticket."
The people that are going to put an R on their ticket are never going to be caught dead watching a Democrat debate.
Oh, yeah.
Have I told you about
It's true.
Have I told you about the take one for the team technique? It's so. So Ethan, the thing that got me thinking about this was Ethan texted me after the debate and said, "When's the Republican debate?" And I said, "Well, no one's challenging the incumbent president right now, so there might not be one."
This tells you how much I know about politics.
There is a governor who's running. I can't remember his name. Someone is.
He's not gonna.
And then John Kasich might run.
Oh, really?
Who I voted for in the primary, opposing Trump.
Right.
Just and whatever, doesn't matter. So if Kasich ran, that'd be interesting. But there's historically, it's not even really a tactic. It's just history has told us this lesson. If an incumbent president is challenged by someone in his own party, even if he wins the nomination overall, they lose every single time.
Oh, good.
So I read a bunch of them. So Lyndon Johnson.
The incumbent will lose?
Yes. Lyndon Johnson was challenged by a couple people who ended up being
Kennedy.
Yeah, Bobby Kennedy was the front runner. Johnson ended up pulling out, and Hubert Humphrey was the one who ran. But then when Bobby Kennedy died, Lyndon Johnson got it back, right? But he lost.
Yeah.
Right? Carter
had Robert Kennedy not been killed, he would have got
Bobby.
slaughtered.
Yeah, Bobby would have been president for 2 terms for sure.
Yeah.
There was another one, Nixon and Ford. So Ford was the only unelected president ever, right? Because Agnew resigned when he was vice president. Nixon appointed Ford to vice president. So then when he resigned, he became president. But he got a challenger from the Republican Party.
And then Ford pardoned him, right?
Well, Ford pardoned Nixon
that's what I mean.
a week in. Yeah. But
sneaky.
Someone challenged Ford. Ford still won the nod, but lost the election. And that's happened over and over again. So there's this theory out there that if one sane Republican would just take one for the team, knowing that they're going to lose.
It's a lot of money to invest in a loss.
Yeah.
It's not their money.
That's a fair
right. So if one Republican jumped in the race saying, I am going for the nomination, even if Trump won the nomination eventually anyway, there's a good chance he would lose just based on history. It's a really interesting, if you look at all of the times that's happened. It's like 5 or 6 times in recent history, like in the 20th century. It was really, really interesting to read about.
Do you want to take one for the team? Call yourself a Republican and try and get the ticket?
I already did that. I called myself a Republican to go vote for John Kasich. And in my precinct, Ted Cruz won anyway. So
you got to warn me before you say Ted Cruz. I mean, it's one of my favorite drops. I never get to use it.
That's an interesting concept, though.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I mean,
we've
still got time. Somebody could still jump in the ring.
Well, who's the guy, Republican challenger? What's his name? Let's talk about him.
I don't know.
Dick Richardson?
GOP challenger.
Now, if he challenges, are we going to have a Republican debate?
It depends on how much.
The Republican Party actually, they did away with that, and they actually just have a cage match. They call Vince McMahon, and they set up a cage match in the Staples Center, and they just.
So there's debate. There's debate committees.
I bet more people would vote if that was the case.
Do you know what the Trump is cooking?
Bill Weld is his name. He's governor of Massachusetts. So there's debate committees for each side, and then for the general election, they decide on the criteria for how you're allowed to be on the stage. So for the next Democratic debate, you have to be polling, I think, at least at like 4%, which is only 8 of them right now. So
I watched Colbert, and apparently he said that the qualifications for the October debate are the same as September. So some of them that didn't make September could make October.
Yeah, it was really weird.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so they just got to figure out the threshold for. It's all about polling and money. So how much money have you raised? What are you polling at? Because right now it's Biden polling at like 40%, Bernie at like 40%. And Kamala at like 20, and then everyone else drops way down to like 7, and then 2, and then 1%. Like you got people like Julian Castro that's like at 1%, you know, and Yang who, you know, he's paying someone his plan is to give every American $1,000 per month.
Yeah.
He actually is paying someone. He's doing the experiment
Yeah.
with a family just to try it out. I
Interesting.
guess he's running out of time though.
Now, speaking of the debates, would Trump be forced to join the debate? I can just see him saying that he wouldn't show up.
No, I don't.
It depends on if the RNC got involved. You know what I mean? That's a really good question. But I know that if the debate commission saw enough of a wave towards this Bill Weld that they said, he's polling high and he's collected $3 million or whatever, you know, that yeah, he could. I don't know. There's not many people who could beat Trump in it. The only person I think who could beat Trump in a debate right now is Kamala Harris. The only person. You know what I mean? Because if you look, the best example is the Kavanaugh hearings.
Mm-hmm.
When he shot back at her all, you know, indignantly, and she just like looked at him, raised her eyebrows, and made him feel like as big as a bottle cap, you know? And he ended up coming back and apologizing. So anyway, Bill Weld, if you want to learn about him, attorney, businessman, Republican politician, Harvard and Oxford graduate. He's 74. He was on the Judiciary Committee. He was an attorney for the District of Massachusetts, assistant attorney general. He's been up there. He's anti-corruption, which is probably why he's running.
Speaking of Republican politicians, this is definitely Utah. So Utah based. So if you don't care about Utah politics, you know, just fast forward for like 5 minutes. But I think last week, John Huntsman stepped down as the ambassador of Russia. And there are speculations that he's coming back to run for governor of Utah.
Right.
I have a problem with this.
So
Mostly because I actually like our lieutenant governor who's running.
You like Spencer Cox?
I do. He seems pretty legit. And Governor Herber, our current governor, is not backing John Huntsman. And John Huntsman left the governorship to go run for president. So he's been gone as either a ambassador to Russia or
he was an ambassador
China.
in the 90s. Too.
And he hasn't been in Utah in forever, but now he's like, I'm coming back to be governor of Utah.
Well, freaking Mitt Romney came here to be a senator.
I know, but I'd rather see John Huntsman run for
president.
Yes, that would actually.
I would love to see him run for president.
I would too, and I really wish that he would. But at the very least, I'd like to see him run for Mike Lee's spot.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. He's worked for like 4 or 5 presidential administrations on both sides of the aisle.
Well, I know we talked about this before. He was the only one that the Obama campaign was scared of.
Yeah.
They weren't worried about anybody else.
I think he's the one who could take it for the team, right? He might win the nomination, but he'll probably lose. Trump could win it, they'll lose. Either way, we get Trump out, right?
Which is the goal.
I'm not a Republican. I'm a hardcore Democrat. I wouldn't mind having Huntsman in the White House.
No, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's saying a lot.
So if you want to know, though, Bill Weld, let's look at what they're polling at right now. The Real Clear Politics average, which is combining 4 different polls. Trump is at 72, Trump is at 81.3, and Weld is at 9.3. He's actually polling at 9.3, which is actually pretty high. That's actually pretty high, considering I don't think he spent any money. You know, I don't even know how I found out. I think I found out on like CNN that he was even running for president. So if he actually brings in enough money to actually run ads, we might see him get up to 15 or 20. And if he gets that high, we don't know. Don't know what the threshold is. So
let's cross our fingers.
Do you think the RNC wants Trump out? Do you think
yes.
they'd rather see somebody else?
Absolutely.
Man, I don't know.
No, I do for sure, because they did that for until June of 2016. The RNC was completely opposed to Donald Trump. They had people on every news channel calling him a racist and a bigot and a crook and a failure all the time. We talked about Lindsey Graham last time, calling him out, and now he's his little bitch, right? No, the RNC, I think in secret, I think they would love nothing more than to get rid of someone so divisive that is killing the party. How many millennials are supporting the Republican Party right now?
Probably none.
Well,
Very few.
no,
Well,
there's-
that depends.
Look, I was out.
It's more than you think.
I was out in West Utah the other day.
Yeah,
and I
that's-
can tell you-
That's a very culturally driven answer.
No, it's more than you think,
Yeah.
but it's less than how many baby boomers are. And there's who has more voters in 2020?
the millennials.
Millennials.
don't
Millennials. It's this election is going to be very interesting.
Man.
they? I hope it is.
Everyone always says the most important election of your lifetime. Well, that's every election. It doesn't really. It's always important.
Yeah.
But you're right about Mike Lee with Huntsman. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I hate Mike Lee.
Mike Lee can go. Yeah. I hate
Him and Mitch McConnell can go find that Clinton room in the White House and have it out.
Dude,
The Oval
Moscow
Office.
Mitch. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, he's pretty pissed.
He is super pissed. It's really interesting when the tables turn on you, right? And now you have a nickname?
He's like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
So this has been in the news a little bit. I just want to give you guys a quick rundown. So all the tariffs.
The
Yes.
year was
Hold on,
2016.
hold on.
Or
turn
as
it up.
historians know it now, the Age of Shadows. America was led by a Kenyan socialist bisexual named something Hussein something. Not one Supreme Court justice had a friend named Squee. The tomb of the unknown.
Sorry, that's the
What
only
is that?
part. This is the beginning of one of the episodes
Oh.
to our cartoon president.
So
in
But
season
then through
2,
the shadows pierced a light.
America is a shithole. Problems will be solved if you believe me when I say problem solved.
And they did.
anyway,
Oh my gosh.
the second season has a couple episodes with Brett Kavanaugh. It's freaking hilarious. There's an episode where all Eric has to do is keep Brett Kavanaugh sober so that he can pardon
has a friend named
Donald Trump.
Squee.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So this is so the farmers.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take this as good or bad news. And I'll tell you why. Because so all the tariffs are affecting the farmers, right?
Yeah.
And on one hand, I can't help but think that might be a good thing because maybe they won't vote for him.
I have heard
Maybe.
recorded audio of farmers. I can't remember where I saw this. It was some news station interviewing farmers about this, and the couple of them were like, "I'll never vote for him again."
See, but on the other hand, I feel bad for them, and this is why.
He can do no wrong. And I just don't know.
563,000 participants were part of the bailout package for the farms that the tariffs created.
Right.
Okay, it was an $8.4 billion deal. This bailout, which I think no. How much was the bank bailout?
I don't remember.
It wasn't whatever. But according to Environmental Working Group, it's a nonprofit. They did a study. The top 1% of farmers were paid an average of $183,000, while the bottom 80% averaged less than $5,000 in bailout money.
Wow.
One farm, DeLine Farm Partnership of Charleston, Missouri, received $2.8 million in trade aid payments. 82 operations received more than $500,000, and they were all exclusively white. They go on to point out. And then the vast majority of these farms received little or no money.
Wow.
So they first they get tariffs, so they can't sell their product. Then there's flooding that destroys their farm. Then only the huge farms get bailout money. It's just I don't. You get screwed on three angles there.
I don't. But he doesn't like Mexicans, so.
Yeah.
That's as I was in West Utah the other day, lurking around at the Maverick, where there are obvious
Lurking.
MAGA types.
Yeah.
I just couldn't help but wonder why is it that they don't want Mexicans, and like there are none out there.
I don't know.
And the only reason there are any is to help pick crops.
I don't know. You want to get me going on these raids?
Oh, the ice raids?
It's a Gestapo.
It is, actually.
Tell
it's very
me
similar.
why we would target people who are working in a poultry plant. Who's going to go do that job?
Ethan with his doctorate.
Maybe they're making good money. I don't know.
They arrest 600 people. They let kids come home from school to no parents with nothing. There's no agents there to help the children. They're just by themselves.
Right.
Then they realize, oh, half the people we arrested are citizens.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Right?
Yeah.
But who's gonna work at those plants? How do they have time to be rapists, murderers, and drug dealers while they're packing poultry? It doesn't make any sense.
You mean packing cock?
Yeah. Chicken cock. It was.
Sorry.
It is the circle of evil. It's the rise of a Reich when you're rounding up people who are just working in a chicken plant.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
It makes no sense.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
How much did you say the bailout was on the farmers? Going back a few moments.
8.3 billion.
Dang. I was hoping that was going to be closer to the student loan cost.
Well, that's only 1 year, right? If he keeps these tariffs going, the farmers still aren't going to be able to sell their soybeans next year.
That's fair. I'm like, they're bailing out farmers.
Yeah.
Student loans.
Did I tell you about the recycling?
Much higher.
All of our recycling in the United States used to get put in giant cubes.
Oh, and take it to China, yeah.
And now China's
I know.
selling them to India, and they're just burning them. All of the United States recycling is just being burnt.
I knew it was a scam.
Because China,
Yeah, I know. We got a little memo from our neighborhood that said that they're not going to be picking up plastic bottles anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, well,
what do we put in there
That's
now?
like
Paper?
that's like recycling. I
just
mean,
put your mail in
you
there
can
now.
you can put cardboard and cans, which both biodegrade, in way less time than a plastic bottle does. But hey,
And most of the time, the cardboard that you're going to recycle can't be recycled because it's got food on it. Because it's a pizza box.
Listen,
yeah, pizza boxes are not recyclable. Just so you guys know, don't put pizza boxes in recycling.
China and the Chinese people have been in poverty forever. They don't have a problem with it. Americans have a problem with poverty. The more people we put in there, it's going to be a problem. We will lose this trade war. We'll lose it.
Yeah.
Because they'll be fine. We can put them into more poverty. They don't care. The Chinese government doesn't care. The people aren't going to revolt. Tiananmen Square didn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
We will lose. It doesn't matter if we bankrupt them. It's stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And then to use our tax dollars to bail out the farmers who it's costing, whatever.
Too much politics.
Well, while we're going to break, make sure you check out the Minutia podcast and the Teacher Vet podcast. Still really good friends of ours. Go listen.
Okay. When we come back, we have some random headlines, of course. I don't remember what they are. They're okay. Did anyone get our movie from last week?
I don't know, but more importantly, Doc Talk.
Yeah, and Doc Talk with Ethan, Patrick Kenahan Johnson. I don't know, man.
I prefer Dr. Mayhem. if you
Dr.
don't mind.
Mayhem.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, we'll be back.
Hey, everybody. I really hope you love the Our Take podcast. Did you know that you can actually get paid just for listening to this podcast? I know it sounds insane, but it's true. We just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. Here's how it works. You listen to podcasts, and you earn Podcoin. Podcoin. While you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin in for gift cards at places like Amazon or Starbucks. Or, if you're a good person, you can even donate that Podcoin to charity. The more you listen, the more you earn. So here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or Android, and I have a special code for you. Simply use our code, OurTakePod, and you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up. And if you listen to enough of us on there, you can get a cappuccino at Starbucks or an Amazon gift card on us. So go ahead and go listen to this podcast or virtually any podcast on Podcoin and sign up with the code OurTakePod.
This is the Our Take Podcast. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you these random headlines.
Let's do some
Anyway.
headlines.
Speaking of swallowing,
Oh my gosh.
what?
Got to start it out like that.
So, you've seen seagulls before, right?
Yeah, state bird.
It is. Why is the seagull the state bird? Do you know?
Because they ate all the grasshoppers that were killing the Mormons' fields.
Oh, right.
That's what I learned in primary anyway.
Yeah.
Locusts.
I'd like to know what actually happened.
Well, have you
Like-
seen all the grasshoppers in Vegas right now?
Yeah, apparently they're heading this way, so I guess we'll get a chance to see,
See if the seagulls actually like them.
seagulls spring back into action.
Nom, nom, nom.
Do you know? Is there a different reason?
No, I just think that maybe they just left, and then someone saw a seagull eating a grasshopper and was like,
Just one?
yeah.
I mean, I don't know why we would choose that bird.
Anyway, so this seagull, you go to a fast food restaurant, right, and the seagulls will flock around wanting some food. And these people were at a McDonald's. I'm not sure what state it is. And this seagull straight up deep-throated a whole apple pie, as I will demonstrate in this video. There it is.
Slow-mo.
The full McDonald's apple pie.
Like a turnover?
Turns it up and then just
That's pretty impressive.
swallows that whole thing.
Oh.
He can't bend his
He
neck.
looked super stoked about it.
Yeah, he was, man. He was
proud.
He doesn't have to eat for a month.
He can't bend his neck after.
Man.
It's just like a. Oh man.
Yeah, whole
Anyway.
turnover. My brother-in-law showed me a video of a snake eating a deer. Have you ever seen a
Ew.
snake eating a deer?
Like I'm assuming it's like an anaconda.
Do you think just describe how that would look to you?
Well, the jaws would be unhinged, like
Yeah.
out of control, unhinged,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Yeah, that would just be
Do you think it would take some time?
probably.
This did not take any time. He unhinged his jaws and just slid over the deer. It was fascinating.
Wow. That actually segues perfectly into our next story, which is king snake swallows 10 inches of its own tail.
I was just going to mention that.
in Pennsylvania. So if you thought dogs were stupid for chasing their tails, this snake decided to eat his
Well,
tail.
That's what a dog would do if they caught it.
Do you think they just rip it to shreds? Okay, move, guy. I want to see the snake.
It's this guy.
I
Who's
don't
this
know.
joker?
Here we go. Okay,
Did
so
they just yank it out? Do we know?
I don't know.
What am I looking
Or
at
is
there?
he still going?
He's like, I'm not done yet. So this snake is obviously dumb,
it tapping him on the
He's
head?
mentally ill.
and he's a complete sociopath.
He
because
probably has one
he
of
just
those.
wants to eat himself. He's like, I am so tasty. There's nothing more tastier than me. I am the tastiest snake in the
And
world.
the tail fits so nicely into the mouth.
He's probably got like tardigrades telling his brain to eat himself.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not unusual for a confused king snake to bite itself, but it's rare they manage to swallow their own tails.
10 inches.
That's
That's
like
crazy.
my whole
Calf.
calf.
Yeah.
He's just prying his. Do you think that like the tail got damaged with like digestive juices?
Probably. Well, and the teeth. The teeth got to be probably like barbed that direction.
Oh yeah. Well, then wouldn't he notice that he was hurting himself?
I don't know.
don't know.
Can they feel?
I mean, I assume
Are they
so.
like fish?
They're heartless. Do fish not feel?
That's the whole reason that vegetarians eat them.
Oh.
I don't know if it's real. I tell you what, I felt bad when I had to smack a fish's head on a rock to kill it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to do
Or
that.
if you ever catch a catfish and you have to smack it like 6 or
Yeah,
7
just
times.
bring a gun, man.
Maybe I don't smack it hard enough.
Just bring a gun. That'd be awesome. You pull a catfish out with your hand.
Oh
and
my
just,
God.
Just blast it.
yeah.
That's what you do with alligators. We've talked about that.
Well, you don't catch him with your hand though.
Well, that's
Just
fair.
put your hand in there. He'll grab on. You pull it out. We'll shoot him in the head.
All right,
Live
one
streaming.
last riveting story. Lightning in Florida struck a septic tank, and the electric shock came up and exploded this toilet.
Dude, what if you were on it?
That is impressive.
Like right as you farted.
It would be an amazing way to die. It really, like,
So
I got struck by lightning on the toilet.
so it ignited the gases
Oh, maybe.
in the septic tank.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's what
This
happened.
is why if you have a septic tank, put a GoPro in your bathroom, always viewing your
Yeah.
toilet.
That's what it says. It says, The plumber said that lightning hit the methane gas that was built up in the pipes from feces.
That's just impressive.
I don't think you're supposed to have that much, though, in a septic tank. You're supposed to have more enzymes, so there's not as much. I thought, anyway.
Well, I mean, they are in Florida, so.
Because you could really mess with someone. You could just go throw a match down a little clean out.
You know, growing up in Texas, they would tell you during a thunderstorm to not shower because the lightning could strike the house and come through the pipes and through the water and electrocute you.
Wow. During a thunderstorm?
Yeah.
Not to make you confused with the fact that you should go in a bathtub in case of a tornado.
Well, no, you don't have to do that unless there is a tornado warning.
And it would have to be
That's why
cast.
in case of a tornado.
It would have to be cast
yeah,
iron.
in that case.
You want a cast iron tub.
Just whatever. Just hold on. Hope for the
Just
best.
go outside.
Yeah. Film it.
Doc Talk. I have a story for Ethan,
Let's do it.
and I want to know I want an explanation here, okay?
You know,
Let's take a trip.
my opinion might not always be valid, but I spent a lot of money on it, so I like to consider it an educated opinion anyway.
You are a doctor. So, let's take a trip over to the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Oh, love the
Let's do this.
The Dirk, if you will.
The DRC.
There's an Ebola outbreak.
crap.
Yeah,
On and off for a long time.
on and off.
I guess you could
People,
say it's always on.
amazing how we just forget about it over here and just like, oh, well, then, whatever.
We get tired of the headlines.
Yeah. They came up with a drug. I don't even know what you would call this. You would have to tell me. Is this like a...
It's a monoclonal antibody, which it's basically a drug that you would take that would go and block the virus.
That's amazing to me because I've always been told that you can't treat a virus. And it's saying the drug works by attacking the Ebola virus with antibodies. Mm-hmm. How does...
I mean, we have drugs that treat viruses, but we have drugs that treat very specific viruses. Like, we have drugs that treat herpes. I mean, they don't cure it, but they help it to go away.
Just block it?
What are the name of those again?
You got a pen?
So, yeah.
Look, I'll just write them down and pass them over there.
All right, thank you.
So the survival rate among patients with low levels of the virus in their blood was as high as 94%.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is interesting because the original drug that we were using during that outbreak that we all started to be scared of Ebola for recently was about 50%.
Wow.
And now we have a drug that in current trials is 6%.
So how
That's
long
pretty good.
before they just start inoculating the whole world? So does this work like a vaccine? Or do you have to have it, like low levels of it? Or maybe like...
my understanding is the drug will basically go in and find the virus that you're already infected
So it's
with.
not a long-living thing?
I don't think it's a prophylactic vaccine.
Okay.
I think it's a treatment drug from what I understand.
So if you live close, they'd probably give it to you.
I think if you
Or they do a
have
blood
been
test.
exposed or you know that you have Ebola, you have to present to a center and then they will give you the drug. See, that's been the problem in the past, and I think they believe that's going to be the problem now, is getting people to go to the centers to
Right.
get treatment because the treatment hasn't really been all that effective, so nobody's been showing up. But now
Right.
it's effective, and they need people to show up to get the...
And especially in a
Get the
place like the DRC, there's like no government,
Mhm.
and the World Health Organization. These guys are freaking heroes. They're the ones doing this. Let's see what their... I just wanted to see what their budget was. $4.4 billion, 194 member states.
I mean, it's just an incredible thing, really. I mean, think about the brains and research and time that went into developing this, and you and
It's
I
crazy.
will never know the names of the people that came up with this drug that is now saving, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of lives. I don't know how many people are infected. That could be a really low estimate, but...
They were comparing it to the last one during like 2014. So from 2014 to 2016 in West Africa, it affected 28,600 people, mainly in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. About 11,310 people died. That's the largest outbreak in the world. So that's not the one that's happening now. But so yeah, 11,000 people last time died. 28,000 people got sick.
A terrible and miserable death.
Yeah. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really is
Anyway.
crazy.
So, Doc Talk, I want to know you shared with me the story. It was a surgeon's memo of how a surgery went.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell Spencer that story.
Oh.
You want to hear this story?
Yes.
All right. So essentially, I came across a surgeon's note that...
Can we call the surgeon Turk?
You call him whoever you want.
Okay.
I mean,
Turk.
sure. He's a good surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
It's fictional. But yeah.
He was called to the ER essentially because there was a man who had presented who had a history of retained foreign objects in his rectum. The last time he had presented, he had a Nerf football stuck up there.
Full size or
With whistles.
Full size.
did it actually have whistles?
Full size. That didn't say in the note.
That would be
Nevertheless, a full-size Nerf.
This time he came in and he had heavy gauge wire sticking from his rectum. Yeah, heavy gauge wire. From the first toy that had been stuck up there.
So he wrapped...
There was another toy that was also stuck up there that had been put up there second to push the first one further that both had then gotten stuck.
He knew that it was going to go further than he could reach, so he attached heavy gauge wire.
Correct. I think probably because he'd had this problem before.
And then he made another... He made one of these, right?
The first toy was
a commercial...
manufactured commercial toy.
Commercial dildo.
The second one, yes.
phallic device.
Yes, a phallic device. The second one was a tennis ball wrapped in electric tape and stuck on a dowel.
Couldn't spring for the second one.
This is like a plunger.
The plunger, yes. So this time, the long and short of it is the surgeon takes it. The surgeon takes him
Which
in.
one was long and which one was short?
And the surgeon takes quite some time to describe how he...
Yeah, he goes into great detail.
He basically sticks one finger inside this already partially opened anus.
So this guy's He's under anesthesia.
He's under anesthesia.
He's in the
surgery.
stirrups. Okay.
The wire is sticking out. The surgeon doesn't know what's in there really yet. Sticks his finger in there, and then slowly advances his entire hand into the rectum to pull out the first handmade toy.
Handmaid's Tale.
That was 4 inches wide and 10 inches long.
What the hell?
Hold up your arm. That's about like that.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How? This was this stuff in
That
his
was
stomach?
that was the second toy, so the one that was closest to the entrance.
Right.
The
And
surgeon then
The surgeon was gloveless.
this is not true.
He had friggin' like arm gloves. It's like one of those nuclear,
Remember on Jurassic Park where she's like digging in the poop?
Yeah.
The Triceratops poop.
That's one big pile of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
he extracted the first
So he gets the first one out. Then he
Which is
advances yet again his whole hand and arm into the rectum to pull out the second one.
because the wire. Why didn't the wire work?
Because the first one had, you got to imagine the anatomy essentially, but the first one had tilted downward and gotten stuck against the sacrum, which is kind of the bottom part of your pelvis.
So
And
he heard a little boop.
So then it couldn't, since the second one couldn't come out, the one closest to the entrance, then the first one obviously couldn't come out either, the one that was really deep in there.
Yeah.
So he had to go in there and reorient the first one and take it out. And then, I guess you could have waited and the original one would have made its way out via peristalsis.
Do you think peristalsis would have done it?
Eventually.
I don't know, man.
I think so.
That's a lot of pressure built up.
That's enough to launch a rocket into space.
The second one, listen, the second one, 20 inches long and 5 inches wide.
I
don't know.
How long is the
the rectum's only like 3 inches
Where
long.
can you describe to me where this stuff is going?
Yeah,
it's making its way around.
Give us some anatomy though. How long is the rectum straight?
Man, that's it. It probably varies person to person. Just the rectum itself.
Yeah. You don't. From
maybe like 6 inches.
So
long.
from opening to first turn, which is it like a 90?
There's a couple of turns in the very beginning. It's called the sigmoid colon, which is like the very end.
So like an
and
S.
It kind
it's
of
like an
twists
S
like
curve?
a little S.
Okay.
And it goes straight up, and it turns left and goes across your body, and then down towards where your appendix is.
In your medical opinion, where are we in terms of the S curve, straight up left turn across your body?
I have to assume that this. Oh man.
Like right under his belly button.
I don't know how big this guy was. At first, I thought it had to be in the transverse part, the part that goes across. But I just don't think it would be possible to get it out from there. So I have to assume it's just been on that left side.
Well, let me ask you this: if you are very fat, are your intestines are they longer?
They're bigger, probably. I don't know how much longer they are.
Okay, so because I just always assumed that they stayed the same size and it was just fat that got around you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really large, it's not like your intestine goes from left to right all the way across. It's still in the normal skeletal system.
Yeah,
Not,
and then
you
you just
know,
have
within
a lot,
the skeletal system.
Then you just have a lot of fat around it. Now,
So-
organs can get a lot of fat infiltrate, but I mean, that's I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how could? But he had his whole arm in there. It's 20 inches long. I mean, 20 inches, man.
Right. I want to think that it was in the transverse colon, the part that goes across your body, but I just have trouble imagining this. And the
just don't-
surgeon didn't go into enough detail.
Now,
in his
how?
note.
But I don't understand how. Wouldn't something rip or tear? At
Well, that's
some
what I
That's
point?
the concern. So he told this guy that he might have to take him into surgery, actually cut him open,
Right.
and go through his bowel inch by inch and make sure that there were no perforations.
And
because
but
that's
he was
the
able
risk.
to pull it out. So, if that, so okay, so there's a risk of tearing, but if you, how pliable are the turns, so to speak? Like,
pretty pliable.
okay, so you could, in theory, stick something up gently enough that could make that 90-degree turn, into like a 30-degree turn.
Right. This is where, in this particular case, I don't know because it would depend on how long it is. 20 inches is
So,
pretty
but
long
that was
to
the
make that turn.
It's
that
almost
was the
2
first
feet, man.
That was the
That's
first
freaking-
toy.
No, the first toy to go in was 20, and then he used a 10-incher to put that
So
one. in
he
even
had
further.
30 inches of foreign objects.
Stick it just in there.
Yeah, I mean, how long has been your longest poop?
I don't know. I had a Metamucil salad infused one before I came over, but
Even a long
It
poop,
was not
I feel like
long.
turns,
I'm
right?
going to say 12 inches.
And they curve.
I've never measured.
Never?
No,
But just
man.
looking at everybody looks at it.
occasionally, but I don't think I've ever had like a dog.
I use
like
I use air measure on my phone.
I didn't know it worked that way.
Works any way you want, bro.
Yeah, so I don't know where this thing ended up. The surgeon. Now, keep in mind, I'm not making this up.
No, this is
This
completely
is straight
true.
out of an actual medical note. I wish he had been more specific, but he was not.
He was pretty specific.
He was, but not specific enough to say, I think this was in the transverse colon.
But I mean, how would he wouldn't know unless he went in and did
I mean,
surgery?
He's a surgeon. He's a smart guy.
You know, they should have done an X-ray.
Yeah, did they?
I'm
not?
sure they did.
No,
Oh,
they do
that's
an
what
X-ray.
I'd like to see.
That's what I'd like to see.
I'm sure they did.
We need to call a university
There is-
and request it.
Having worked in many ERs, there is no way that this gentleman came in and said that he had abdominal pain and didn't get an abdominal CT scan.
That's true.
You don't
That's true.
think that he came in and just said there's 30 inches of phallic objects in my butt? Like,
Well, they still have to do it. Like if you went in and said, "Hey, I swallowed a quarter,"
right.
They'd still
they'd still do
X-ray
an
you.
X-ray.
I
Yeah.
know, but do you think he went in and said I have abdominal pain? like
No, they
thinking
probably-
that they wouldn't
They probably knew him by name.
probably.
Like, Dan, come on, man.
Again?
For
Again?
real, you got to call us. Just call us. We'll help you. We'll help you through it.
Yeah.
Grab a hold of something, bite your lip. We're gonna get through this.
The way the surgeon writes this note, I can see him just rolling his eyes and
Yeah.
just being so annoyed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's 30 inches.
You'd be amazed what people will stick up there.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing some X-rays right now.
Yeah, don't
they're-
Google it.
And they're always
already
weird
did.
stories.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
Coke bottle.
You know, I treated a lady once who came in and she was really embarrassed to tell me what was going on in her life. But the story started that she had tripped in the shower, and I thought, I know where this is going.
Because first of all, you don't trip in the shower; you slip in the shower.
right.
Yeah, well, maybe she said so.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just. Anyway, and I was like, And then I ended up in the ER. She didn't tell me what happened. So I ended up in the ER, and I need you to take some stitches out.
Oh, that's. I
And
think you
said,
told me this story.
Okay. She had tripped in the shower and fallen on a shampoo bottle and lacerated from like her rectum up her butt crack, along the crack. And I thought for sure she was going to tell me that it like went in.
She tore
'Cause
her.
that's usually
she
how these
tore her
stories go.
taint.
No, the other direction.
The other direction.
The
I guess
chode?
that's-
up to the up to the tailbone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Not down to the gooch.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I thought for sure she was going to tell me that something happened, like, foreign object went up there. But
Yeah.
No. Still, I don't know.
Do
Well,
that all the
You know,
time.
as a doctor, let me ask you this. What stops you from going to the doctor?
cost.
Is
period.
it cost?
That's it. Yeah.
Really?
Because my deductible is so high that I have to pay
You got to pay cash.
every time, like at least $80 to $100 something.
So if cost wasn't an issue, how often do you think you'd go to the doctor?
A lot more frequently. Like I think I tore my rotator cuff, and I can't afford an MRI. Like I did it like 2 years ago. It still hurts, but I'm not going. I can't shell out $2,000 for freaking MRI.
I could see that. Honestly, I mean,
I have to go every 6 months to get refills on.
Yeah, I do
Klonopin.
too. I and he sits down with me for 5 minutes, and he charges me $100.
would you go more frequently if it was cheaper?
Yeah, I mean, well, I have a free doctor at work now. She's
Right.
on staff. It's awesome.
Really?
But I go to my regular primary for refills and stuff.
Because you make an interesting point. I think about all the patients that I have that are on Medicaid, and I'm not judging people that are on Medicaid. I've been on Medicaid before. People that need it, they need it. But to get medical care on Medicaid is really cheap. Like your copay might be $0 to $3.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
And so I see Medicaid patients at a significantly higher rate than I see everybody else. I think because they can.
The problem is someone in like a situation like me or Spencer. Well, not so much me anymore because of my new job. Has great insurance. Now it's expensive. The premiums are more, but I don't have a copay and a very low deductible. But in like Spencer's situation, he makes enough money where he might not qualify for Medicaid, and his employer offers insurance that he has to pay. A big chunk of premiums plus a copay. Well, what's your deductible? 5 or 10?
Actually, I think it's only 3 right
3?
now. 3,000.
So I mean,
Right.
but 3,000.
I mean, your run-of-the-mill visits are not even going to come close to that.
No.
No.
The only way I hit it is if something terrible happens.
Yeah. What if you have a baby?
Yeah. I've never like last year. I think I spent 500, or it might have been less, 400 maybe.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
it.
it's these high deductible plans are strictly for catastrophic
Yeah.
use.
I'm thinking about doing the higher end one next year because there is one, but the premiums are like $100 a paycheck or $150 a paycheck, something like that. But
When I was on a higher deductible plan, I got close when I was going to therapy more because he
Yeah.
was expensive.
yeah,
Because
that's the main reason I'd want to switch back to the
then your therapy's cheaper.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't think that your ability to Google your symptoms or look on some forum about people that have similar symptoms inhibits you from going to the doctor?
I mean, I'd be lying if I say that I don't Google it and look and see what I think I have.
I think everybody does. But did you ever Google it and you're like, all right, I think I've just got a viral something. I don't need
No.
to go to the doctor.
I Google it and I still go. Usually.
It depends on what it is.
Is
If
that
it-
to challenge the doctor with your
if WebMD
medical
says
knowledge?
I don't need to go, then I won't go. But
WebMD is always going to tell you to go.
it doesn't sometimes. It says if it tells me that I can get rid of it by taking NSAIDs, NSAIDs, then I don't go. Because what happens inevitably is I go to the doctor, he charges me $100, and he writes me a prescription for 1,000 milligram ibuprofen. I'm like, okay, thanks, doc. I could have just
You could just take 5 pills.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you're right about if you put any type of thoracic pain in WebMD, it's going to tell you to go to the doctor.
I don't know why. I don't know if they've ever been involved in a suit. Like, I could understand.
They just assume everything's a heart attack or like an appendicitis.
But I wonder why they do that. There's got to be a reason. I mean, it's true that kind of thing always crosses a doctor's mind, but like,
I'm sure it's a liability.
It's got to. But can they really be held liable?
Well, it's not a matter of whether or not they could be. It's worth the court costs, right? Like, it doesn't matter if they win or lose. It's going to cost them a lot of money if someone goes super public with like, I put in my symptoms to a T, and WebMD told me not to go, and I almost died.
I don't
you know?
think it. Yeah, I don't think it never says not to go. It's not like it comes up with a big thing that's do not go.
Do not go.
It's just it gives you an advice. It says how it's treated. It'll say normally this is treated this way. It can be treated this way. And this. I
Right.
don't think it ever. The only time it says you should go is if it's like a heart attack or brain aneurysm or there's
if you
a
put chest pain at all.
section that says when to see a doctor.
Right.
And then you look at that.
I actually don't generally get on WebMD if I'm Googling symptoms.
You shouldn't.
I Google and then maybe I'll read like a journal.
Yeah, I
or
do
something.
that too, actually.
But no, it doesn't stop me from going.
All right.
It usually convinces me to go.
Look, if you're a regular patient, here's my PSA. Look at a reputable site like Mayo Clinic has a lot
Yeah.
of good stuff.
Mayo's good.
Look on Medscape.
Medscape.
That is really good information. And
NIH, I've read some stuff on NIH. That's more like studies, though.
And those are probably two really good free ones. There's some other ones that you might be able to pay for if you're interested, but I mean, nobody really wants to do that. You might as well just pay to go to the doctor, I guess.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
do you-
Go ahead. No, go.
I was gonna say. I mean, I have all these questions now that we're on this topic.
Go ahead.
Do you get pissed? I mean, speaking of this last topic, if you go to the doctor and he looks you over or she and says, nothing's really wrong. Like, let's give this some time and it'll probably be fine. Or you could probably just take ibuprofen and feel better. Do you feel reassured or like the doctor did his job, or you breathe a sigh of relief and you're like, I'm glad I went, or are you like, I'm feeling ripped off. Like, I feel like I should get an x-ray or an antibiotic or...
No, I don't ever feel like I'm ripped off. I'd rather not go get an x-ray because that's just more money.
But, I mean, you probably go there and... I just get the impression that some patients go there. I tell them that, and they're like, why did I even come here? Yeah. I'm like, well, you came here so that I could tell you that you weren't sicker than you really are. I figured that was why you were here.
But I think that's more... I don't think it's like... what's the word? I don't think it's in any sort of... like disdainful way. It's just like, oh man, what a waste of a day, But I've never felt that way personally. But if you see people like that,
I'm not mad at the doctor. I'm just like, I shouldn't have gone, because normally it's always a struggle with me. Like, should I go? Should I not go? I don't know. And then I'm like, all right, I'll just go. And then I'm like, I knew I shouldn't have gone.
Well, now you can go see Ethan. He's in town.
Aren't you in an emergency room?
No, I do family medicine. I don't know if I should say where I am on here or not, but I'm here in town. I don't know.
Does that matter?
I don't know if I have any
You can
legal
Google
obligations.
Dr. Ethan Baham. If you want to make an appointment, make an appointment.
I do.
Taking new patients.
I do. My current doctor's in Provo, so
Oh, that's stupid.
Why is your doctor?
Because I lived in Provo.
For reference, it's like an hour from here.
There's doctors all over the damn place.
I know, but
There's
I've
one
been
in the
with
room
him.
right
I've
now.
been with him since I moved to Utah. So he's got all my.
Do you think he knows your colds better than?
No,
No, but it's good. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time saying otherwise, because I feel like if you find a doctor you really trust and get along with and you build a rapport, then stay with him.
I don't know if I moved to Provo, I think I'd get a new doctor.
I mean, I probably would too, but that's out of laziness for driving.
Well, it's not laziness. That's just
that, and
economical.
I don't.
You're only going.
I don't go that often.
Yeah.
Like, I rarely go. But I have been thinking about, because it is kind of a pain to go all the way down there. Plus, I don't.
Well, I don't know if Ethan would take you on, but if you're listening, Ethan might. Google him. Yeah.
There you go.
What else? Do you have any other questions for us from a doctor's point of view? That's kind of an interesting twist.
We should have thought about that before we started this.
Patient talk.
Dang.
Patient talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to think of some more patient questions. I always sit and stew on it in my office after I see a patient. I'll have to actually write it down.
I tell you what, I haven't been satisfied lately with your treatment of me.
I'm not even really treating you.
I've been sick for like 65 days.
Still?
Yeah, I'm still sick. Still hurts to swallow.
It's a common cold, man. Just get over it.
It's been 2 months.
I've had a runny nose for like 3 years, and it's just like, whatever.
That's not the same.
I think I'm allergic
That's
to
because of your
dogs.
birds.
No, I think I'm allergic to dogs, though.
That
That's a
could
new
be.
thing.
Have you been to a specialist? Not that.
No.
I mean, you might not even.
I haven't
really
been
need
to. I have Teladoc.
Are you saying that you're not good enough, that we need to go to a better doctor?
No, I'm just. I mean, I don't know how many times. My point is, I don't know how many times you've seen the doctor.
I haven't seen a doctor. I Teladoc.
So now we're really getting somewhere here.
Listen. I have Teladoc, right? And I took a picture of my throat, and he said, "You have a bacterial infection. Here's some amoxicillin." I started to get better. I actually got better.
Did you have your wife take an online pregnancy test? Did you?
Yeah, you pee on your phone.
Did you? I took a picture of my throat. My chest hurt, so I took a picture of my boobs.
No, Teladoc is legit.
Teledocs have their place.
It's a thing for a reason. And so he gave me amoxicillin, and I started to get better. And then, so the infection went away, the sore throat went away, and then the infection kind of came back, like a little bit of whiteness again. Mm-hmm. And then I got a cough, and it's kind of a dry cough.
Throat doesn't hurt.
No, my throat hurts. It hurts to swallow. It actually, sometimes it hurts to chew, like the muscles back here. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what they are. Glands? something.
Isn't that your?
I hate to say this because in the medical field we talk about antibiotic stewardship a lot, and I think you and I talked about this not too long ago, where essentially the idea is that you got to be smart about your use of antibiotics, or we create a problem down the road, right? So, but at the same time, if you were to come and see me in my office tomorrow, which now you probably will, which is fine, come on over. I would probably get you on a slightly stronger antibiotic and see if that actually improved your symptoms at all.
I had that happen once. I went to an Instacare, and he's like, take ibuprofen. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I went to my real doctor, and he gave me an antibiotic, and it went away instantly.
The thing you got to remember is it's not always, an antibiotic's not always the solution, right? And sometimes you got to wait for your body to cure it, but you've been going for a long time.
And I am a good steward. I don't like to take antibiotics because I know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it's been probably 2 years since I've been on antibiotics. He gave me a 10-day regimen.
This can be my plug for family medicine, which is what I do, right? My job is for you to come to me and me to see if it's something that I know how to handle, right? And most of the time, really basic stuff, simple stuff, that's fine. Like, I can handle that as family medicine, even if, a specialist could also handle it, right? In this case, sure, you could go see an ENT, but you probably don't need to right now, right?
Yeah, you could just get your pad out right now.
You go to your
write me a...
Sure. You go to your family doc, and they look at you and they say, let's do these couple things, and if that doesn't work, come back. And if you come back, they probably have something else up their sleeve, and they say, okay, let's try this.
I figured the next step was either going to be continue to wait or stronger antibiotic. I figured.
Right. So, and then if those kinds of things don't work, your family med doc knows at least where you need to go.
Right.
Right? So that's my job. So if you came to me, I would say, you've tried a couple basic things. Let's try a couple other things that might be a little more than basic. And if that doesn't work, then we get you to somebody that really can do more.
If that doesn't work, we'll get you to doTERRA, and you can take some essential oils, and that should clear you right up.
I would write you right now. I don't even have my pad here.
Well, I know you would. I know, but then you'd bill me, so it's okay. I'll give you my insurance card.
I can't bill you. That's out of my league. See, there you go. That's another thing that
you should.
Patients think that I know everything about their insurance and what it covers and what it does not.
The girl up front knows more.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
What happened to?
I'm going to do my best to treat you with no regard really to whether your insurance can pay for it, unless I know that the treatment, no matter what, is going to be expensive. Then we're going to chat about it. But I don't know those kinds of details.
So the other day, so Ashley's uncle, so my uncle-in-law, he's got lots of land. He raises pigs and sheep and cows, and he had a pig that was sick, right? And they were trying to call a large animal vet, and I was like, man, I'm going to start a business that's at-home vets. And that gets me thinking, what happened to like at-home doctor visits? Like back in the day, they have their doctor bag. What happened to that?
I'm sure that if you are wealthy enough, then that is.
But it wasn't a wealthy thing.
I've done home visits before.
Yeah,
I think it's probably just the sheer number of people that you have to see.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm sure like to your point, Spencer. Yeah, you could charge a premium, right, and say you don't have to come to my office.
And you can do that. There is what they call concierge medicine, or direct primary care is somewhat similar, although if anybody's into direct primary care, they're going to be trying to stab me through the mic right now. But, you could still have people come do home visits. I've done home visits before for people. But for me to get paid enough to make my time during the day worth it, I have to see more than the 6 or 7 or 8 patients that I could see by driving to their house, unless I'm going to charge them an annual fee for their use of my time,
retainer.
which is what
Yes.
like concierge or direct primary care is similar, where let's say you pay me, I get into a practice where I say, you give me $2,000 a year, and if you need me, I'll come to your house whenever you need
per
it.
visit.
And I'll give you my private cell number, and if you have a question, you call me, and if you need me, I'll come to your house.
I bet you can make a lot of money doing that.
There are people to do it.
Sure that there are
people
plenty
to
of
do
those in Hollywood.
If you want to do it, go ahead and Google, not you.
I'm like
Google Ethan, and he'll be your concierge doctor for $20,000 a year. I upped it by tenfold.
Thank you.
And a per visit charge.
I got a lot of loans to pay off.
Yeah,
I'll do it for cheaper if you vote for Bernie Sanders.
there you go. All right, movie trivia.
Yeah.
Nobody commented.
Yeah, we didn't get any comments from the last one.
Now, I know what it is.
What was it?
What's the question? Hold on, I want to know.
It was a Cuban immigrant keeps getting promoted.
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
That is what it is.
That's the subject of the movie.
Yeah, that's the plot.
That's the bad plot explanation.
Cuban immigrant keeps getting promoted.
Oof.
I got this one almost right away.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I was surprised with myself, to be honest, because the other ones have been really easy that I've missed.
Cuban immigrant keeps getting promoted.
It's in a it's a pretty similar industry to you. In that drugs are distributed.
Yeah.
Without a prescription.
Say hello to my little friend.
Really?
I don't know, maybe you've never seen it.
I don't know.
Scarface.
I mean, I know where the quote's from, but no, I've never seen
Yeah,
Scarface.
I don't know that I've ever seen it either.
It's good.
Yeah.
Cuban immigrant keeps getting promoted by dealing cocaine. You going to do some more today?
Those are the people that our great leader is talking about.
Yeah, but those are Cubans. You know?
Do you think right before that speech he watched Scarface and was like,
No,
these people are doing coke.
You probably watched like Border Patrol or something.
Probably.
You know, Live PD.
You know, the first one that came to mind was Breaking Bad. It's not even a movie. But what's the where was he from? The guy that ran Los Pollos Hermanos.
Oh, he was from Colombia, I think.
Was it Colombia?
I thought it was just Mexico. Was it not? I don't know.
Maybe. I can't remember.
Man, what was his name? Now it's
Gus.
Gus
Fring.
Gustavo Fring. That's
Yeah.
right. All right.
He just showed up in something I was watching.
Yep.
Anyway, I've got a couple more for you here.
Okay.
This is a pretty big movie. Depressed office worker joins cult and destabilizes government.
Best office worker. It sounds like Fight Club again.
Probably should have saved that one.
It's not Fight Club?
No.
Depressed.
Do you want
office
me to guess?
Yeah, you can guess.
joins cult and destabilizes government.
Might be a reach. Maybe the Matrix.
That is the correct answer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
If you want to consider the sentient computer that uses humans for energy, the government.
It's absolutely the government. It's the real government.
Speaking of a sentient... Anyway, young boy destroys a robot after teaching it to understand love and friendship.
Terminator. Judgment Day.
Yes.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Terminator 2.
Judges.
Okay. Irresponsible child orchestrates prison break of dangerous sea mammal.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Free
Willy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually Children of the Corn.
All right. Is this one?
Let's see here.
Man, I love trivia. Just like sucks,
Yeah.
man. I could do this all day.
Let me do one more here.
I can't believe no one got Scarface.
Yeah, maybe no one listened to our last episode.
Well, out of the three of us that are sitting here, only one of us has
No.
ever seen that movie.
You know, a lot of people listened to last week's episode. If
Oh,
you
yeah,
haven't
that's
listened,
right.
it's one of our highest plays with my mom's story.
All right, here's one more for you guys, and then I'll do another one. Drunken lawyer gets DUI, forced to coach. This kind of gives it away. Forced to coach Pee Wee hockey team while getting it on with a player's mom.
Is it the Mighty
the
Ducks?
Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
The Flying V.
Wait. Hey.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Now that I'm a little older.
All right.
All right, is this the one for the listeners?
Yeah.
If you know the answer, at the Artake Pod on Facebook.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to get here. All right, this one might be easy. Terrorist. That's not right.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm going to have you guys guess this one because I don't think this is right. Terrorists steal talking appliances to learn how to kill millions.
Terrorists still talking appliances.
There's only one show with talking appliances. One that I can think of.
What is it?
The Brave Little Toaster.
See, that's the wrong answer. That's up here as a wrong answer. This is why I think this one doesn't make
Steals
sense.
talking appliances. That's the only one I can think of with talking
Well, they're
appliances.
not actually appliances. They're robots.
Steals talking robots.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
It says Star Wars: A New Hope.
Droids?
Robots.
Yeah,
I guess they're kind of an
yeah. But who are the terrorists? I know this.
But
is...
does he use those robots to kill millions? They produce robots to kill millions.
Well,
that's the point of
This
the
is a New
Droid
Hope,
Wars, right?
So
read the thing again.
Terrorists steal talking appliances to learn how to kill millions.
Yeah, because R2 had the plans.
I guess that's a fair
Did
statement.
he?
That one's obscure. He did. Yeah,
That's the whole point. R2D2 had the plans.
yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
That's the point of the entire movie.
But here's
Have you
the
ever
thing.
seen Star
here's
Wars?
the thing. Okay. Now this is a little controversial, but I've always kind of seen the Empire.
That's the good guys.
Well, if you think about it, all right, the Empire.
If you think about
Empire definitely mirrors a certain other large military.
Right. We just want peace.
I know.
We just want peace.
And the Jedi are kind of terrorists. I mean,
yeah, this ancient religion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying.
To shoot through your teeth.
All right. This is for the listeners. Dystopian future sanitation worker abandons job after becoming obsessed with women and also weed.
All right, we did it one more time.
I don't know how this is.
Keep going.
Dystopian future sanitation worker abandons job after becoming obsessed with women and also weed. Oh, okay. I think I know what it is.
Well, there you have it. At the Arctic Pod on Facebook, if you know the answer to the quote. I just can't believe no one got Scarface. But
yeah.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here, Dr. Ethan Baham.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.
For episode 63 of the Arctic Podcast, I'm Brian.
I am Spencer. We'll see you next time.